So our next presenter is Rhonda Gauthreaux. Rhonda is a high-energy marketing communications and customer experience professional who understands how technology continues to reshape business and has the ability to link marketing strategy, corporate strategy, and technology to drive customer-focused business goals. Rhonda is currently seeking her next great career opportunity. In her past, she was the Vice President of Marketing at Southwire Company and Director of Marketing at ADT. Her talk today is on, is it really digital transformation? So I will turn the controls over to Rhonda.
Good afternoon. I appreciate you all for listening today. What do you think about when you hear the words digital transformation? I automatically think about business transformation, but then I ask, why are businesses transforming anyway? What's really at the center of business transformation? My answer, customers. Customers are at the center of transformation. Then I think, well, why do customers want businesses to transform? It's because it's personal. Customers expect you to know them and be informed about the relationship they have with you, their past history, and their preferences. They expect suggestions of things they like, and they expect answers. But all that makes it easy to do business from wherever they are at that exact moment when they engage with a company's brand. What has ended up happening with the idea of digital transformation is too much focus on the word digital, when the guiding principle of transformation is all about the customer preference and how they want to do business with you. John Chambers, who's a former executive chairman at Cisco, he said at least 40% of all businesses will die in the next 10 years if they don't figure out how to change their entire company to accommodate new technologies. I'm sure we can all agree on that. But again, I think of the why, and I would add new technologies that enable a business to quickly accommodate customer preference in a meaningful way, thereby moving the focus to customer transformation, which I think also clears up the definition of what the outcome of the effort should be. let's see if I can switch this. I'm sure, like me, you are all familiar with the tons of great articles, available tools, independent research, and lessons learned that exist around the topic of digital transformation. Since the term's inception a few years ago, many companies have ventured down the digital transformation road and are currently at various stages in the process. That progress has added even more to the noise around the topic. To use a cooking analogy, throw that information in with the variety of definitions and interpretations of digital transformation. And well, like I imagine most of you feel, I'm not sure what digital transformation is supposed to look like, taste like, or really even how to serve it up. My first bit of advice on the topic of how to move to customer transformation and move it forward at any organization is to gain consensus with your organization of what this thing called digital transformation means, and to ensure the effort is focused on the customer. Feel free to change that adjective from digital to customer too. From leadership to whoever the person is you are talking to at the moment, create one agreed upon universal definition that your leadership can get behind, and then educate the team. Repeat that definition at the beginning of every presentation and conversation that you have to gain alignment. Here's the definition I've come up with by taking published information, many individual conversations, some great research. I think it encapsulates how all that boils down. But the definition I'm going to show you will be a great place for you to start for your individual organizations. Certainly, you should discuss it and modify it to fit your company's goals and objectives around customer transformation. There is no generic roadmap that exists. You must look at your organization and start there. Some companies start with looking internally, some look externally. But consider asking a few folks at your organization to edit this one or craft your own. So customer transformation is the profound and agile transformation of business activities, organizational culture, processes, and competencies that are driven by the customer's preferences and can fully leverage the changes and opportunities found in both data and digital technologies and their impact across both society and an individual organization in a strategic and prioritized way, keeping both present and future shifts in mind to accelerate sustainable business practices. So that is a mouthful, but I've tried to put everything in there that I think is important to this idea of transforming your business. I think we can agree that digital transformation is high on the corporate strategy list, yet some numbers I've seen say up to 84% of transformations fail. Who or what part of the organization can impact success or failure the most? The next place to look, once your definition is complete, is to your customers. Customers are the driving need for digital transformation, as I said earlier. Technology is enabling transformation, but should not be the primary focus of your transformation. Consider placing more focus on understanding customer experience and decision journeys, and also the organization and the prioritization of your data. Ultimately, you need to gain an understanding of what is driving the need for transformation at your individual organization, and therein lies your roadmap. Another great way to help influence transformation is to start by using lessons learned by other companies to help shape your company transformation. Now that companies have been working at this for a few years, there is great published data available around why digital transformation fails, and there's a lot of it. So what I've done is try to sum up a lot of that information and research into these three main drivers of success. Leadership. Lack of focus from the top down is the #1 reason cited for failure. Said another way, the CEO owns establishing the priority and moving the goal forward. That role is the one that creates clarity around key deliverables and establishes clear, desired output of the transformation effort. This is much harder at older, established, and larger organizations. So what is happening are huge shifts in those types of organizations at all levels from leadership down. Some of you may even be products of that change. Integrating this transformation into business is hard. The CEO must lead that integration by having all leadership across the enterprise on the same page. The reason so many small niche companies are succeeding and seeing so much growth stems in part from the fact that those businesses are built on an agile digital platform. There is no need for difficult integration or culture change. I'm sure you've all heard the current comparison to the past history of business environments as this being the next industrial revolution or digital industrial revolution. Marketing, operations, logistics, customer service, sales, corporate communications, and other areas of the business will play key roles in an organization's transformation. Strong partnerships with a strong leader and a change management lead for the transformation itself are critical to success. If the organization's strategy doesn't center around driving the transformation, it impedes it. If your CEO is not building a single organizational partnership with key stakeholders and leaders, including having marketing at the table, you will be hard-pressed to impact change, as you are the key area that develops and executes the messaging to the customer. I encourage organizations to think hard about who at the organization is closest to the customer. Sales and marketing, not IT, not operations. This lack of strategic vision leads to scope creep and rising costs. Finally, part of this leadership change must include a way to eliminate the fear factor. After all, we're in uncharted territory, and if mistakes are made, it should be seen as a learning exercise. To address this, I like what I saw in an article back in 2016 that suggested holding a standalone risk session with leaders and stakeholders before starting down your transformation journey can help minimize risk. The second driver of success is obscure or differing ideas of what digital transformation means, not only in general, but across a single organization. If number one is not in place and number two exists, this obscurity can lead to individual silos, unintentionally moving the transformation forward in various directions, with various priorities and interpretations. Individual teams often generate individual and segmented efforts that can never move a transformation forward as one. Another approach that some organizations create are a part-time team of individuals that already have full-time jobs at the organization. I don't know about most of you, but can you add the job of digital transformation to your current job and successfully generate results? This is another symptom of obscure, differing ideas, not only of what transformation is, but how it needs to happen. Obscurity also leads to the wrong technology, which I'll address as you see in number 3. The point here is that in the absence of the right technology, people find workarounds. They build or install their own technology to address those individual needs we talked about a moment ago. This even further derails an enterprise effort by leading to initiatives that are not scalable across the organization. Establishing who's in charge and building a team dedicated to this effort is a key element of a successful transformation. However, I would caution you here, don't fall into investing in changing your organization all at once or ramping up a large team too quickly. Start small, build a focused effort that builds digital architecture combining leadership, people, and technology, because digital transformation happens over time with small yet consistent steps that are future versus current looking. I've seen a company that built a corporate strategy with the idea of digitally transforming at the heart of it, yet there was no plan and no leader and no idea on how to actually transform the organization. It made the strategy seem like a disguise for the current state of affairs. Drivers 1 and 2 lead to the third driver of success, and that's technology. And many organizations, IT, in an effort to serve their individual internal customer segments, the ones I just mentioned above, will try and lead this effort. Unfortunately, that often leads to purchasing and implementing technology with a focus on current operational processes rather than a digital future. Additionally, the business must spend time up front on investing in quality data or data quality, data storage, and developing a sufficient understanding around the integration of the data to enable the transformation. Other pitfalls around technology include a traditional view of purchasing a single technology or working with a single consultant. Many experts, people who own companies that help large organizations implement transformation, recommend against that. They say it doesn't work well if there's just an internal team or if the entire transformation is outsourced to an external team. Experts recommend a combination of the two. Another area to watch is when your organization is changing other digital aspects that will and can ultimately enhance the actual transformation, but they are not the transformation. An example of this can also be found in that same article I referenced earlier. The author is English, and he said, if I had £1 for every time I've spoken to an organization who say that they have already started on digital transformation because we're getting a new website, I would have a yacht. So let me summarize, Let me summarize and bring it back around to how can marketing impact customer transformation. Number 1 is to ensure a marketing seat at the table. Don't forget, we talk to the customer every day. We monitor social sentiment and analyze customer behavior throughout the customer's journey. And don't forget about the sales organization, another group who should be closely aligned with the customer and the marketing team. We also talked about working with leadership to create priorities and to define what digital transformation is for the organization. Let your customer guide your transformation strategy. Let your strategy guide your technology. Although I've not really gone into this one other thing in this short talk, I do recommend an investment in your customer experience initiative at your company with a proven customer experience firm. as your guide. And I would suggest you do this early on in the process. Finally, create and maintain a trusted and valued and mutually beneficial relationship with your IT organization. You marketing, us, we marketing, can and should help to ensure our voice is heard so that marketing doesn't become part of the dust speck. Continue to let the customer be your guide in your transformation and build your strategy and roadmap around where that customer might take you in the next decade. Surely that's much easier said than done. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Rhonda. That's such an informative presentation on what is a really hot topic these days. As she said, one of the most important things is to make sure that marketing has a seat at the table, which is often a challenge in lots of things in marketing. So Rhonda's contact information is on the screen, so if you have any questions for her, feel free to reach out.